Welcome to the GCI Conference Center. Please enter your access code followed by the pound sign. Welcome to the That entry is not valid. Please enter your center. Please enter your access code followed by the pound sign. Welcome to the Welcome to the GCI Conference Center. Please enter your access. Thank you. Please stand by. If you are the chairperson, press the star key now. Your conference will begin when the chairperson arrives. Please wait. You will now be placed into conference. There are 14 participants in the conference.
Good morning.
Morning, Glenn. This is Lauren.
Good morning, Lauren. This is Plank.
Miller's on. And good morning.
Morning, guys. Emmett here.
Who else from the board is on? Myself and Mr. Miller. Anybody else from the board on yet?
Casey DeShock in Bellingham.
Hi, Casey. Nice to hear your voice.
Yeah, there it is.
How do you pronounce your last name?
It's D-Shock.
Mr. Klinkhart, do we know if our attorney's on yet?
I haven't gotten a text, but she generally texts me if she can't get on. Joan, are you on the line?
Guess not.
Oh, just so you know, Lieutenant, Chris on the phone.
Hi, Chris. I hear you're on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Schulte, are you on yet?
Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
we got another minute or so.
Yeah, this is Klinkhart. Just to let you know that, the last 2 days of ABC board meetings, GCI was having and has been having some issues with bandwidth. So when people, if they just keep trying to call in, eventually people manage to get in. But GCI says they're working on it as best they can. Over.
I've had that problem with other teleconferences, not necessarily GCI. I had to dial 6 times before I got a ringtone. I kept getting your call cannot be completed as dialed. The other day I ended up having to use my landline to call in because my cell phone wouldn't work and my landline worked right away. But I understand that's a teleconference wide because of the stay at home and so many people are doing everything by telephone. But luckily I'm on my cell phone, otherwise it would be terrible if I couldn't be on my cell phone.
Yeah, I have found that a landline seems to get in almost every time. Over.
Yeah, but my landline doesn't have a speaker phone on it, and I can't do headsets with it, and it would be terrible.
Is there any way maybe tomorrow...
Mr. Schulte, are you in line yet? Ms. Wilson, are you online yet? Mr. Klinkhart, are you ready to start recording?
Yes, we can, whenever you say the word, sir.
Okay, we're going to wait another couple of minutes to see if Mr. Schulte comes on.
This is Jaime. I do have a quick question. Is there any way, maybe after lunch or tomorrow, that at least the board can have the meeting in Skype or Zoom? I find it difficult to stay, completely engaged on teleconferences for more than 2 hours.
Mr. Jaime, I agree. I'm hoping that we can make this as painless as possible, but I know the city of Borough and Juneau, we have looked at Zoom, couldn't quite get it all together. We've had 4 5-hour meetings in the last week, in which we have had at least 5 members on the telephone. It is a difficult situation these days, but Zoom and Skype to allow the public access takes a little bit more effort, and I'm not sure that either the state or the city are set up for that kind of volume. So I think we're just going to have to try to make do. I will take some frequent breaks, but I would suggest if we're having trouble calling back in that we not disconnect, that we just sort of hit mute, and but I will try to take some frequent breaks. But I do appreciate your concern, because I was, after being in a meeting from 5:30 to 9:30 just last night, and looking at a meeting starting at 6 o'clock tonight that may go for another 2 or 3 hours, and spending a day on my headset with all of you was not my favorite thing to do today. So, Mr. Schulte, are you online yet? Ms. Wilson, are you online yet? Okay.
She'll be here. I just checked in.
Oh, Bruce, you're on?
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Wilson, are you on?
Yes, after a number of tries, I finally made it through.
Yes, we've all had that issue. Okay. Mr. Clinkhart, if you will start the recording.
Okay. I believe Terry just has indicated she is recording.
Okay. Then I will call the meeting of the Marijuana Control Board on April 2nd to order at 9:04 a.m. So with a roll call, my indication, and I will just say this, that all 5 board members are on. Mr. Clinkhart is online, Ms. Wilson is online, and other staff are online. I will let the clerk note the other staff members that I don't. So the next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I don't know if anybody else has any agenda items. I wanted to let the public or the industry that's listening, under tab 9, we list about 13 licenses pending inspections. We do not intend to have you present us at this meeting. This is information only. And so if you are one of those 11 or 12, it is not necessary for you to be here, as we will not be going through that list. We will save that until our Fairbanks meeting in June, which I am hoping the state will be in a position to do in person. Other than that, I don't have any other agenda changes. Mr. Miller, do you have any agenda changes?
I would like to add something on the agenda towards the end of the meeting to discuss any possible items around making adjustments for the COVID-19. I'm not exactly sure how I want to word that, but I would like to have some discussion around the regulations and statutes to, as it relates to the public health mandates that the governor's put out.
Certainly, and I think under the regulations we have board requests for projects, and then there is an item for consideration of emergency delegation of authority, tab 65. I think we can work that discussion into either one of those two places.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Mr. Deshak, did I get that right? Do you have any agenda changes?
I do not have any agenda changes.
Okay. Mr. Jaime, do you have any changes?
I do not, but I do have another question.
Certainly.
Can I ask it now? So I would like to testify in front of the representative. So what is the status of my appointment? Do you know Mr. Clinkhart?
Hi, this is Director Clinkhart. I did not get any confirmation information from the governor's office or not. Everything moved, I think, to the floor, but I didn't get confirmation that they voted on it. Over.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Schulte, do you have any agenda changes?
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. I don't have any agenda changes. My concerns, I think, are similar to Mr. Miller's. A comment I would offer to Mr. Jaime's question, because he and I are in the same boat with regard to our confirmation. My understanding is that the Senate, Labor and Commerce, has sort of indefinitely postponed our interviews. So I think we're just kind of in limbo until that happens. But that's my imperfect knowledge of the situation.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay. Then we will approve the agenda with the addition of that discussion at the end of the meeting, and basically having tab 9 as an information item. So we will approve the agenda. Before we go on, I just wanted to welcome Casey DeShook, our new member. It's my understanding that if the legislature doesn't act, the appointments fall away, although I think they'll fix that. We have to remember that the legislature has recessed. They did not adjourn sine die. And so I suspect that they may come back for confirmation before they reach the constitutional limit of 121 days, but I'm not sure. I will try to check with some of my sources and see if we can figure that out. Also, I wanted to remind the non-board members that are online to mute your phone. This is going to be a hard process. We are changing a lot of things in order to do this where none of us are in the same room. And it's going to be very, very important that the listening public help us do the business that you are interested in as evenly as possible. So mute your phone, and we will try to get through this as expeditiously as possible. Also, just to tell my fellow board members that my leadership style as chair of meetings and chair of committees throughout most of my working career has been that I intend to speak last, not first. And so when we get to items for discussion, if you have issues to discuss, if you have questions to ask, you're going to need to ask those because I will be waiting to the end, and then if my questions have been answered, we can do that. So I'm going to rely on all of you to ask the questions. For those who will be testifying in terms of licenses and businesses, again, introduce yourselves, and then we will go straight to questions. I think we all know that you are in the business, that you want to get into business, and the board needs to be able to ask questions, and we don't need to string this out with very much other discussion. So with that, I'm hoping that we can shorten this meeting a little bit in the sense of moving along quickly if there's not a lot of questions or discussions. So with that, do we have any changes or a motion to approve the minutes?
This is Jaime. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Schulte, I'll second.
Okay. Since we're on the phone, and I know the attorney will tell us we have to take voice votes on some of these procedurals, I'm going to assume any motion is automatically seconded to just save a little bit of time. The only note that I had on the minutes was on the last page it says election of officers, but there's no record that that election was done and what the results of that election was. So I think that needs to get added to the minutes since there was an actual election. With that change,
Records and Licensing Supervisor. To the chair, I will make that correction. Thank you.
Okay. All right. With that, we will, is there any objection to approving the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, Bruce Schulte, I just want to clarify. I think we're all on the same page, but I just want to clarify that we elected you as chair and Mr. Miller as vice chair. Is that...
Yes, I believe that's the case.
Okay.
All right. No objection to approving the minutes with that change, then we will approve that. We're down to board governance. This is a time for Mr. DeShook, especially for any of us to declare if we have any potential conflicts, if any of our status has changed in terms of our other work life, things that we have already discussed. So I will just go down the list. Mr. Miller, do you want to report?
There are no changes.
Okay. Mr. Deshuk, do you have any conflicts that you know of?
No, I do not have any conflicts.
Okay.
Nothing has changed myself since the
Okay.
application.
Okay. Mr. Jaime?
No changes or conflicts to report.
Okay, Mr. Schulte?
No changes.
And I report no changes either. Okay. So the next item is tab 2, consideration of a motion to authorize all handler cards to remain valid until further
Mr.
notice.
Chair, I'm sorry, this is Carrie Craig again. I believe
Yes.
that you wanted to go into executive session at the beginning of the meeting to discuss certain items. Do you have the latest agenda in front of you?
I do not believe I have the latest agenda. I have the agenda that you sent out, well, a week ago, I guess.
Okay.
I was not aware that...
There was a revised agenda that was sent out, and it is on the website. I believe when we had our conversation over the phone that you wanted to go into executive session to discuss some items.
Mr. Chairman, I'm looking at my copy of the agenda, and that is listed under item C under administration.
Okay. Yep, I now see the revised agenda that I otherwise I do not have in front of me. Okay. I guess to our attorney, if I might apologize for this, but I believe the first item under executive session, if we go into executive session with that, is that just the board, that is no staff or yourself?
I'm looking, Mr. Chair, one moment. That first one, have you arranged to talk to the administrative law judge?
This is Director Klinkart. Actually, yes. He's waiting for me to tell him when he can call into our executive session conference call.
Yeah, that would, unless you, as the board, requested both counsel to appear, I cannot appear. It should be considered an ex parte communication.
Okay.
The second matter, I believe I can appear at. And I should appear at, as should Mr. Brandeis and Ms. Conti. I wonder,
Conti is here, Your Honor.
Why all right. In the front of the agenda, when the last time I saw this we're at the end of the agenda, so I didn't realize it got moved up. But
I didn't realize either, and so I'm operating on a different agenda. Okay.
I would imagine the first matter is not going to take you much time, Mr. Chair.
I was actually wondering whether or not we needed to go into executive session. The board has been presented with the judge's findings, and we could, and we have to adopt those in open session anyway.
Correct.
So I guess I would ask the board if, one, do we need to go into executive session on Fairbanks Cut? Do we feel we can read and vote without having to go into executive session? So, Mr. Miller, let's go down the line here.
I don't believe we do.
Okay. Mr. DeShook?
I don't believe that we do.
Mr. Jaime?
No?
Mr. Schulte?
I think we can just, I don't see a need for it.
Okay. And the only thing we would need to do is do the top shelf. So let's deal, is there a motion to, I guess, accept the judge's decision on Fairbanks Cut?
So moved. Schulte?
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Jaime.
Okay. Okay. Is there any discussion?
Through the chair, Director Klinkart.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Klinkart.
Thank you, sir. Just want to let you know that I believe Lily Bossart from Fairbanks Cut, she asked several times if she could address the board. I don't know if she's online, but I just want to let you know that that was a consideration for you to think about.
I guess I will look to the attorney, but I think this is a motion for the board to make to accept the judges, and there's no testimony accepted on that. So, but if the attorney disagrees.
I do not disagree, and to my understanding, she's also represented by counsel, so,
Okay.
I'm confused as to why he's the one requesting it.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion to accept the judge's decision. So we'll take a roll call vote. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. DeShook?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Ms. Wilson, if you could, I guess, talk to me tomorrow, or if I need to do it today during the lunch hour, I can print off what I need to sign, and you can direct me on how to get that to the law department, either here or mail it or whatever needs to be done.
We will figure that out, and,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So then we were on top shelf. So if I have a motion to go into executive session, I will warn you that we are having trouble. I had to dial almost 7 times before I got through. We may have trouble getting us all on timely, but we will try. Board members, you were sent a email from Director Klinkart with the number to call for the executive session with a different passcode. So if I could have a motion to go into executive session, please.
So motioned.
Mr. Miller. Is there a second?
Second. Schulte?
Okay.
Hello.
Is there any...
Hello, excuse me. This is Judith Conti. I'm the attorney for one of the parties opposing, and I did not get an email with the number for the executive session. I was at the last one.
Okay. Maybe the director can text you or something with the number. It's the same 800-315-6338. but the code is different. So I will, if there's no objection to going into executive session, then we will sign off. We will go into executive session, and when we're all online, then Ms. Wilson will be online and staff will be online. We will deal with this with Top Shelf at that time, and so with that, we will disconnect this phone, understanding that it may take some of us a while to get back on. Okay, so we will recess into executive session via the telephone.
What was that phone number again? Or the code number?
I'm not going to give out the code number in public because we want it to be a private line. If the director can take a minute or two to send that out, but I believe the email was sent Tuesday morning, or maybe Wednesday morning, but Tuesday morning I think that email was sent out by the director.
Yeah, I got it on the 31st at 9:18.
Okay, so you might check your email, Mr. Jaime. Okay, we are going to disconnect and try to reconnect into executive session. Thank you.
The chairperson has disconnected. The conference will now end. Welcome to the GCI Conference Center. Thank you. Please stand by. You will now be placed into conference. There are 26 participants in the conference.
Mr. Miller, are you in line?
I am here.
Mr. Schulte, are you in line?
I am here.
Mr. Jaime, are you on line?
Yes, sir, I am.
Mr. Deshuk, are you on line?
Yes.
Mr. Klinkhardt, are you on line?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Wilson, are you on line?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Are we back on tape?
This is Carrie Craig. We are recording.
Thank you very much, Carrie. I appreciate your efforts on this. We are now reconvening the alcohol or the Marijuana Control Board meeting of April 2nd. And it is at 10 o'clock. We have come out of executive session. Mr. Schulte. Mr. Schulte.
Terribly sorry, I was muted as well. I'm back. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to move that we table this matter until tomorrow, April 3rd at 9 a.m., possibly in an executive session. I will second it.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Okay, take a roll call vote then. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Deshuk?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So on the issue of Top Shelf Herbs of Alaska, LLC, we will take that up for whatever action tomorrow morning at 9, possibly going into an executive session at that time. Okay. Thank you all for your patience with me in particular. So I'm looking through my agenda and then the revised agenda. We did state on here that, well, I guess we're on to the consideration of the handler's card memo from the director. So, Mr. Klinkhardt, can you talk about that, please?
Yes, hi, this is Director Klinkhardt. I'm basically asking the board to consider a motion in which, that would something to the effect of all state Alaska marijuana handler cards properly licensed and current as of, make one change, to the governor's order back on March 15th shall continue to be valid until further notice by the Marijuana Control Board. And this is meant to hopefully give some people out there in the industry some sense that this is one of the things they don't need to deal with for a while, and that when they can work or if they have the opportunity, they can continue to work. So I ask the board for such a consideration to a motion. Over.
Mr. Chairman, I would make that motion. Schulte?
And Jaime will second it.
I'm not muted, am I?
No, you're not, but Lauren may be.
Yeah, I was. Sorry.
Okay. We're all looking at our phones.
Yes, I know. So board discussion on the motion to basically state that all state marijuana handlers cards properly licensed and current as of, I believe, what date did you put in there, Mr. Klinkert?
During the discussions with the board, they decided to have it backdated to when the governor made some of those proclamations. I think it was March 15th was accepted. So
March 11th.
Okay. March 11th. Okay. So all state marijuana handler cards properly licensed and current as of March 11th shall continue to be valid until further notice by the Marijuana Control Board. That is the motion. Is there any discussion?
This is Jaime. The only concern I have is it says until further notice by the Marijuana Control Board. I'd like to have a date on there so this doesn't go on indefinitely.
Do you have an amendment?
Yes, I'd like to amend the motion to add an end date to the original motion so that this doesn't go on indefinitely. Even if it's 6 months out or a year out, but I just want to have an end date.
Do you have an end date in mind?
That I do not. I will defer that to the chairman or the director.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Mr. Schulte.
Do we know yet the date for our fall meeting? I was going to suggest that.
I believe we have a June, an August, and an October meeting. June is in Fairbanks, August is in Nome, and October, I believe, is in Anchorage.
I would suggest either then the August or October meeting date as a choice, which would be either 4 months or 7 months, if I'm reading the calendar correctly.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, this is Casey DeShaw.
Yes, Mr. DeShaw.
Just a comment on this one. I would disagree with having the date set anytime soon, or even if we are setting a date. I would recommend at least probably a year, so that if we're already extending them, why not give some certainty so that we're not doing extra work for anybody that's in the business.
Okay.
That, Mr. Chairman, Bruce Schulte, if I may, that would simplify things for the folks who are actually processing these handlers cards. I mean, it would basically just make the cards good for 2 years instead of one. Or, well, no, it would extend them by 1 year, I guess.
Well, we have a motion on the floor. We have an amendment that has yet to be seconded. So if there was an amendment, we would put in an end date. And August was mentioned. So August 31st would be one date. That would be after the meeting, and we could act to extend. Or we could go out a full year to, say, March 1st, 2021.
This is Jaime. Since I did the amendment, I'd like to extend it to March 1st of 2020 to make things simple.
I'll second that.
March 1 of 2021. Okay, there's a second on that amendment. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Okay, we'll have a vote on the amendment then. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. DeShook?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm a no. So that has now been amended, the original motion. I got to tab back and forth here. So the motion now would read, all state of Alaska marijuana handler cards, property licensed and current as of March 1st, 2020, shall continue to be valid until March 1st, 2021. So that would now be the amended motion before us. Is there any discussion of the motion? Okay. I then have several major issues on this. One is, I think this is done to help our staff the distancing issue of issuing handler cards, people not being in the office, and I appreciate that. I am not sure that I would feel good if I walked into a place and asked to see a handler's card, and all of the people working handler's card expired 6 months ago. And I was not assured that they had retaken the test because we require all of the handler cards education programs and testing to be current with our regulations. We don't know if it expired and the person left the industry and hadn't worked in the industry for 2 years, but his card was still valid, and he suddenly went back to work after his card had expired and he had not taken the education. So I just think that we have to be careful in using the emergency to put us in a position where the regulation is there to protect the public and to protect the employee and to assure the control office that all persons working in the industry are current with the regulations, are current with the education, and this limits that, and it takes it away for a full year unless we rescind our action or change it. And I want to caution us not to use this emergency to loosen our rules to the point where we lose some control over the people working in the industry, the background checks required for the people working in the industry. If you do a no renewal for a year, somebody can come up with a conviction and we won't know about it. Somebody could do some harm and we wouldn't know about it. So I have some real issues with this. I don't think I want to take up the time to discuss those in detail, but that's one of the reasons why on the amended motion I will still be a no. So are there any other discussion, or are we ready to vote on the amended motion?
No, this is Jaime again, since it's my amended motion. I thought we already voted on it, but having said that...
Well, we voted on your amendment. We have not voted on the main motion.
Okay. So we can all, as a board, we can choose to put it on August, extend it for a year, but reevaluate in August. If this pandemic goes away, then we can reassess the situation, can we not?
You certainly could.
So, this is on the October's agenda.
This is Casey.
Mr. DeShook.
Yeah. So the one problem I would have with putting it on the agenda or moving things around, I just don't want to see where we're enforcing things or we're having to look at have AMCO staff that are uncertain what the requirements are. So if you have a handler and they're extended for a year, then that's what's going to be in their mind. I don't think that people are going to. I don't think that there will be a lot of people that will keep up with it all the time. And so if we want to review it, or we've already passed the amendment, so with the year, if we're going to do it for a year, I would say that we would extend all of the licenses for a year and not review it until that year is up, because it just creates confusion, I would think. And if we don't want to extend it that long, then maybe we should revisit that.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Mr. Judge, Mr. Miller.
Mr. Miller.
I have one question for the director.
Please.
Okay. So this was requested by the director. What I don't know, did he request it because under the current operating structure, he doesn't think they're going to get cards renewed in time? I'd like a little background on that.
Mr. Klinkart.
Through the chair, yes, there was a couple of reasons. As we worked on contingency plans on this and as things were progressing, it was number one also Yes, indeed. Chairman is right. Trying to limit the face time between staff and public and vice versa. And it was also that as things progressed, we were trying to look at ways that we could help the industry and the individuals, so that, although it may not seem like much, it's something that they, one less thing they have to worry about while everybody is also trying to worry about their jobs. So, and it did not come actually from industry. This came from discussions within AMCO. Does that answer your question, sir?
It does, and I was on the fence about this, but the more I think about it, I assume we're doing all these by mail and remotely, and you have to provide photos if you do things that way. I don't even know if passport photo businesses are even still open. So, we have to remember this just doesn't touch AMCO, it touches other businesses as well. So I think I answered my own question.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, so on the motion that all State of Alaska marijuana handlers cards, properly licensed and current as of March 11, 2020, shall continue to be valid until March 1, 2021. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Deshuk?
Yes.
And I am a no. Passes on 4-1 vote. Okay, so the next item is public testimony. We have stated on here that due to circumstances, we may limit public testimony. I would like to, I don't know who's online or who wants to testify, but I guess at this point, I would like to have the board weigh in. I would like to hear testimony from the Marijuana Industry Association and then close public testimony. We do have it on the agenda at the end of the meeting again, but I think given the time that we're at and the business that we need to do, I would like to limit the public testimony to that group, one person, and if that's not acceptable to the board, we'll go ahead with public testimony, but I would like to make that suggestion.
This is Jaime. I agree with you, Chairman.
Any other members?
I'm agreeable to that. Schulte.
Okay. Okay, then, if there is a representative from the Alaska Marijuana Industry Association online to provide public testimony.
This call is being recorded. If you do not wish to be recorded, please disconnect at this time.
Somebody's recording us anyway.
Yeah.
Is anybody from the... Is anybody from the marijuana industry online?
Yes, Chairman Jones, this is Lacey Wilcox.
Okay, Lacey, please. We're going to limit the public testimony to your discussion. So.
Okay, no pressure, huh? Okay.
No pressure.
All right. So thank you, Mr. Chair. For the record, my name is Lacey Wilcox. I am the president of the Alaska Marijuana Industry Association, speaking today on behalf of the board of directors and our membership. I appreciate this time, so thank you for that. Before I begin, I want to extend our gratitude to the staff at AMCO for staying hard at work, whether from their home or the AMCO office. Their focus, responses, and steady professionalism gives us assurance that our regulators will ensure the backbone of our industry structure is strong and unyielding. So thank you, Director Klinkart, Ms. Wilson, and everyone else that I cannot list in my limited comment period. We appreciate you. On to our policy requests. First, we ask that you, the board, table decisions on regulations that are not promulgated in response to COVID-19. Given that lives are at stake, we understand that COVID-specific policies are the focus of your time today. We trust that you will make decisions with Alaskans in mind, with an awareness as to the societal importance of safe access, especially during times of stress and uncertainty. We understand that Alaska is a recreational market by name, but the reality is many consumers purchase cannabis products for medical purposes. The simple fact is Alaskans are using cannabis as medicine. Cannabis products are essential to the health and well-being of many Alaskans. We ask that you, the board, instruct the staff of AMCO to explore more mechanisms for our industry to provide Alaskans the safest means of accessing cannabis. This will allow our businesses that are currently providing the safest access possible more opportunity to improve safe access for consumers, including those with medical needs, and providing a safer work environment for our trusted employees. The AMI respectfully requests the board consider the following policy changes, which we believe will mitigate the risk of community spread amongst consumers and our marijuana handler permit holders. With urgency and careful precautions, we attempt to comply with the Governor's Public Health Mandate number 11 that states public-facing businesses providing essential services and critical infrastructure will proactively promote social distancing between employees and others, including but not limited to expanding delivery options, drive-through services, limiting the number of individuals in a building, clearly spacing lines to keep individuals 6 feet apart, or making appointment times to minimize interactions between members of the public. In addition to looking inward for solutions, we must also look outward towards other states for ideas and guidance. Other states, such as Illinois, Louisiana, and Michigan, have implemented measures that allow for curbside pickup. We hope this board can provide guidance and direction to enable and empower your staff to explore similar options that will reduce the risk of community spread in our Alaskan communities. Per Alaska Statute 1738-121, this board is vested with the powers necessary to establish an enforcement plan. We encourage you to consider adjusting enforcement priorities and allow staff to collaborate with the industry, as flexible interpretations will be more expeditious than emergency regulation, and time is of the essence. Simple clarification for staff of what the definition of delivery is or the interpretation of regulations with instructions to enforcement to allow more time on delivery manifest between licenses, allow overnight stopovers, allow multiple transporters on a single manifest, and allow off-site product handoffs would serve to accommodate safe access for consumers, safer working conditions for employees on the front lines, and further align our industry with the Governor's mandate. Currently, transporters must enter a facility to deliver wholesale products. We request that you consider that delivery transactions could occur off-site, for example, at the airport parking lot, store parking lot, hotel, or other safe area. This policy shift could mitigate exposure risk and would further the protection of public health. Although some may argue that these changes may increase the possibility of diversion, we suggest that given the state tracking system in place, there is little, if any, added opportunity for diversion that does not already exist. However, the public safety advantages of making these changes are real and measurable in terms of reduced exposure. Again, we are asking that the board realign enforcement priorities to provide direction to your AMCO staff that as long as the goods leaving the supplier arrive at their destination correctly, intact, and as described, the hardline requirements of how it gets there should be relaxed during this time. We ask that you instruct enforcement to allow manifested transport of product in checked luggage on commercial airlines so that wholesale deliveries can occur with fewer human transporters and fewer human-to-human contacts. This would allow wholesalers to use a single transporter who can deliver larger quantities without having to enlist other transporters due to carry-on limits. Checked inventory could be handled similarly to firearms at the TSA oversized kiosk. Again, this is in the interest of public health. We suggest you could further advance public health with an even more mitigating solution, allowing the entire wholesale order to be gold streaked or sent via air cargo to a licensed receiver. In a nutshell, we are asking that you treat product transfers similar to a chain of evidence procedure in law enforcement. Package departs facility A, then arrives at facility B, intact as described, and that's it. It's simple, it's enforceable, and it's safe. If your immediate reaction is to oppose our proposed changes, we ask you to pause and remember these changes do not have to be forever, but they are requests that, if granted, will curb the risk of community spread in this challenging and unique time period. If after deliberation of our requested changes you still find yourself rejecting our request, we then ask that you please offer viable alternatives. If you cannot provide viable alternatives, we ask that you justify why objections to these safety measures would outweigh the benefits to public health and safety that would occur if our suggested changes to policy interpretations were quickly implemented. So please, hear our call right now for
Welcome to the GCI Conference Center. Thank you. Please stand by. You will now be placed into conference. There are 96 participants in the conference.
Mr. Klinkart.
Thank you, sir. My director's report actually was kind of short, certainly shorter than last time, thank goodness. And a lot of the things I'm going to say, I'll say during the next 2 days, so I'm going to try to keep this brief. Just to let you and the public know that we've been working very hard on contingency plans, which we started quite a while ago. One of the few advantages to having a cop as your director is I plan for the worst, and having my officers and my staff doing so has really helped them over the last 2 months. We actually started almost 6 weeks ago on this, planning for the worst, and unfortunately the worst happened. So the staff has known, they've been part of the plans, and they've been part of the solution. So I cannot say enough nice, wonderful things about them, especially my supervisory staff, Carrie, James, and Melissa, have just been troopers about coming up with ideas and being ready to go. And the only anxiety that they seem to have was waiting for me to actually implement things. So they're doing good. Also, I have to specifically say that although we've got staff, most of them from home, we have some of them that are coming in, including Jennifer and Jason, who are working as our dispatchers. They're taking care of calls, and they're making sure everything gets routed. So they are really, really willing to come 5 days a week, and I want to say thank you to them. Also, I mentioned even in the last report that I am big on technology. I just wanted to take a moment and say that unfortunately this was the call-in system that I inherited and that we have, and we're actually doing fairly well, and that's going to go to a lot to our chairman for moving things along. He's doing a good job, and my chairman on ABC did a good job over the last 2 days. So I just asked at GCI, we've looked into it, we've called them, they have said it is a bandwidth issue. People who have landlines seem to have a better go of logging in. So be aware. I did also talk about internet solutions, and before anybody says, why didn't we do that? The answer is, I don't do anything without trying it.
Oh, if the door's open, if you walk by,
Excuse me,
right there in my face.
phone.
That's my bed is. So I decided, I was like, why don't I put up a curtain?
Whoever is having a conversation on the phone, please mute your phone or stop your conversation. We're trying to conduct a formal meeting here, and please mute your phone. Go ahead, Mr. Klinkart.
Thank you, Chairman. And so actually, we have started doing some preliminary testing on video conferencing systems that's worked in other places. However, I will tell you that our initial test failed so miserably that it's a good thing we didn't try it for this meeting, but we're going to continue to move down those lines and give the board of the public other options as we move forward. And with that, I'm not going to take up any more time unless board members have questions of me, of which I am available now and for the next 2 days. Thank you very much.
Board members, comments or questions? Hearing none, I appreciate, I know that I have gotten some communication, I think the full board has, over the last couple of weeks that expand on the director's report in terms of the contingency and how you're staffing. And I appreciate that this is a pretty full agenda for the amount of staff that we have at any one time actually working in the office. So with that, we will go on to the enforcement report. And I assume that Mr. Holster is not available. And so Director Klinkart, do you have an oral report for the enforcement supervisor's report?
I'll do my very best to channel Chief Holscher. This is Director Klinkart. Long and short of it is, basically over this contingency and over the COVID-19 issues, Chief Holscher and I have come to the conclusion that we're doing very much like what the troopers and Anchorage Police Department and the rest of the city police officers. We're prioritizing all of our calls for service, our investigations. Nothing is off the table, but I've made it very clear, and Chief Holscher agrees, that public safety is number one, and as well as, and that includes, people who may be people underage, but also with the governor's COVID-19 mandates. So we haven't had any problems with any of our marijuana licensees, no complaints that they're having group sessions. To the contrary, as Ms. Wilcox stated, and I know that they've been doing, is working very hard to ensure the safety of staff and people. So that's good. The fact I haven't not had any formal complaints says a lot about folks. However, if we do, it's those sort of issues that are going to be number one in the priority. I also have to take into consideration from enforcement, putting our people, our enforcement officers, in harm's way. They do have PE, should, in some cases, they have to go out. We are limiting any sort of contact, and we're working on other things, including virtual review sites, like that.
Excuse me, there's some people having a conversation in the background, and if they could mute their phones, please. Go ahead, Mr. Klinkhart.
Thank you. Basically, I'll just end with saying that we've been working with Anchorage Police and the troopers, and they have been sharing information with us, and we're supporting them as best we can. They, too, are also prioritizing public safety as their priority, and we're going to support them as well. So that seems to be, unless any board members have any other thoughts or ideas about priorities, that's kind of what we're working on. So I'll take any questions as best I can. Thank you. Over.
Questions from the board?
No questions. This is Jaime. Do you have a comment? I just want to thank the EMPA officers for all that they've done through this pandemic.
Okay. Hearing no other questions, tab 4 is notice of violations. Is there any discussion or comments on tab 4? Okay. Thank you. Then tab 5 is unpaid taxes. Is there any questions that we need to ask about tab 5 at this time?
Mr. Chairman?
Okay. Mr. Schulte.
Yeah. I don't have a specific question other than I'm a little concerned at the period of time that some of these folks have gone unpaid. There is some comments in the marijuana mailbox that we might discuss earlier that focus some attention to this, and I think they're well considered. And in a nutshell, I think that some folks in the industry don't feel that we're taking the tax delinquencies seriously, and I'm beginning to agree with that perspective. I'm not suggesting we do anything about that right this moment, but I do think that it's worthy of a discussion, perhaps a little later.
Thank you, Mr. Schulte. I agree. I haven't read the mailbox at this point, but I know in the past we've had discussions about our role in enforcing. Given that we're not the collector, we really don't know all the background, but we do have the ability to suspend a license or terminate a license for unpaid taxes. That, in essence, does not get the state any revenue, so that's been our dilemma, I believe. But when we get to the mailbox or toward the end of the meeting, I think we should have that discussion. I'm hoping that we can get there quicker than we might otherwise. Any other discussions on tab 5? Okay. Just to note to Mr. Klinkhart that you and I had discussed an NOV issue several weeks ago about a limited cultivation out in the valley, and I did not see that NOV in this document at all, and so I want to have that discussion, but I will save that discussion to the end of the meeting. Okay, so we will move on to the licensing report, which is tab 6.
Good morning.
Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Carrie Craig, Records and Licensing Supervisor. On January 27th, 2020, Olivia Frank started working as a licensing examiner in our office. Since that day, she's trained with John Church and Randy Baker. She has quickly mastered the art of processing alcohol renewal applications. Unfortunately, we have received notice that Mr. Church will be leaving AMCO possibly mid-April. I know that I speak for all of the staff that he will be missed terribly, and we have sincerely enjoyed working with him. AMCO staff wishes him the best of luck in all his future endeavors. TJ and Jack continue to process and review all marijuana applications, even from working from home. There have been some technical difficulties, but we are overcoming. Coming up, as we all know, the renewal season is starting. This will be my first marijuana renewal season, so please be patient with me. Let's see, the renewal notices are required by 3 AAC 306.035A will be sent out on or before May 1st, 2020. At this time, the to-be-reviewed queue for marijuana establishment applications have approximately 10 applications waiting to be reviewed. AMCO staff is always working diligently to keep the wait times as short as possible. Thank you.
Okay, are there any questions of Ms. Craig?
Mr. Chairman, Bruce Schulte.
Mr. Schulte.
I would just like to thank Ms. Craig and everyone else involved for all of their efforts at this very trying time, and point out how refreshing it is that there's 10 applications in the queue, whereas I think you and I could both remember a time when there were several hundred. So, progress.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Schulte. We do appreciate that. That makes our team feel very appreciated. Thank you.
Any other questions on the licensing report? Okay, I would like to suggest, and don't get off the phone, but if we could take, I say it's 10:38, so at 10:45 I'd like to come back, but I think maybe we just need to have a little bit of a break, and then we will start in on tab 8 at 10:45. And I suggest people just stay on the line because it's hard to get in.
I saw it.
I'm not here.
But they were working because they're lazy anyway.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I show 10:45. Ms. Craig, are we recording?
Yes, we are recording now. Thank you.
Okay, I am going to call the Marijuana Control Board meeting back to order at 10:45. I am going to assume that all of our board members are back online. And so we are at tab 8, previous board actions taken. And this is Enlightened Extractions, LLC, license number 21552. Director Klinkart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Director Klinkart. This is an application for a marijuana product manufacturing facility in the municipality of Anchorage by Enlightened Extractions, LLC, DBA Enlightened Extractions, LLC. This application was approved 5-0 with delegation in the January 2020 meeting of the Marijuana Control Board, but a timely objection to the application was received. It's on page 2 of your memo. Over.
Thank you. A question, well, breaking my own rules. Board discussion.
Through the chair.
Mr. Miller.
I just really wanted to see if council had read this objection and what opinions or advice they may have.
Ms. Wilson. Ms. Wilson, are you online? Mr. Miller, I was going to sort of ask the same question. Since we have this in delegated status, they have not been issued the license yet. I assume that we also had Municipality of Anchorage protest because they probably don't have their permits from the municipality, and I'm just wondering if we really need to do anything at all, given that we have received the objection. They are in delegated status. The staff has that information. So, Mr. Klinkart, do you have an opinion on this?
Actually, I concur that, of course, with the situation, the municipality was available during the ABC board meeting, so if there's anybody online that wants to comment, that'd be great. But I kind of agree that at this point, we just want to wait and see what they say, where we are at.
And this is Jana Waldstein through the chair, counsel for Enlighten. I'm here for any questions, and I also have the landlord's attorney who's dealing with the litigation, David Shroop. He's also on the phone as well.
Yes,
if you have any questions.
Through the chair,
okay.
This is Mr. Miller.
Mr. Miller.
I would say that, we've approved the application as written, and if anything comes up where the plans have to change in the future, they'll have to file a operational plan change, and I don't think there's any action necessary by the board.
Ms. Wilson, are you online? Hopefully she hasn't had problems getting back on. Any other board member discussion?
Mr. Chairman, Bruce Schulte.
Mr. Schulte.
Just a question perhaps for legal counsel. Is there anything that we as a board could do today to help them along, or is this just sort of got to work its way through other processes that we have no control over?
Ms. Wilson, are you online? I don't know that she's online. If you're talking about Ms. Wilson, I will let her respond.
I'm sorry, I should have been more clear. I did mean Ms. Wilson.
Ms. Wilson.
Thank you. Through the chair, there's nothing that this board can do. The conditional use permit hearing is set for May 19th, and Attorney Shroop is dealing with the civil litigation, and it's my understanding that's just a civil matter that will play its course in court.
Thanks. I have no further questions.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm hearing from Mr. Miller and through the attorney and our director is that we will notice that we did receive the objection, that we discussed the objection, and that the board is taking no further action at this time. Is that acceptable to the board?
Mr. Miller is a yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. All right, then,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, this is Mike Mullen. I'm the party that filed the objection.
Okay.
It was my understanding that I would have a moment today to state a little bit about my objection and where I'm coming from.
Okay. Please.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time. My objection centers around the equipment that Enlighten is planning on using pursuant to their license. That equipment is owned by me, by my company. We have a lien on a UCC lien. We have a judgment against the person that was using the equipment, and we have a writ to obtain that equipment from the state court of Alaska. The only reason we haven't been able to levy on this equipment is because the landlord, the owner of the building, has refused to let us into the building. He said, at first he claimed that the equipment was in storage, and then he says it's not in storage. Then he lets us, the tenant go in and actually see the equipment. They're just hurt. They're playing games. They've lied to the Marijuana Control Board. They've lied to the Anchorage Police. They've lied to the state court. They've lied to someone from the state court that went out with us to levy on it. Every step of the way, they've stonewalled, and now they're trying to use our equipment, and they're causing me to now take action, legal action, as well as securing attorney in Georgia, where I am, to file a federal lawsuit against these people and all the cronies that they brought in that have committed fraud and conspiracy to try to steal this equipment and use it for their own benefit. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm down $168,000. I'll spend another $168,000 to see that I get this equipment back. This equipment could be seized at any time, and for them to use it pursuant to a license is just wrong. It's fraud. This isn't going to happen. I have copies of everything that I've said. If you'd like to see them, I'd be happy to email it to you. I could email you my writ of execution. If I were to walk in that building right now, I have the legal right to take that equipment. The only reason I can't is because they locked the door. I'm in the process now of securing a writ of assistance from the court that will allow the state police to go with me to make them open that door and let me get my equipment. So for them to put an application in saying they're going to use this equipment in their business is absurd.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions from the board? Okay, thank you very much. Is there any action the board wishes to take at this time? Hearing none, then we will move on and appreciate the testimony provided. The next item was tab 9, which is the license and pending status for more than 6 months, which we are not going to take up at this meeting. I would tell everybody on that list and anybody that's in delegated status for more than 6 months, we will probably come back to this in our June meeting and understand that this is some unique times and there may be some extended issues out, and we will certainly consider that. But we wish all of the industry well as they try to progress here. So we are down to tab 10, and this is 2 licenses, Great Northern Cultivation, Inc., license number 10299.
No, that's
and
ours.
Great Northern Manufacturing, Inc., license 10301. Mr. Klinkart, do you want to lead the discussion on this?
Yes, through the chair. Thank you very much. This particular one is, if you look on your, I'm scrolling now trying to find my notes, but there was, hold on one second, sorry.
While Mr. Klinkart is looking for that, is there anybody from Great Northern Cultivation online?
This is John Redden. I am General Counsel for Great Northern Cannabis. To correct a misstatement, license number 10299 and license number 101 are RC Tinderbox Incorporated licenses that we have applied to transfer. They are not our licenses at the moment.
Okay.
And this is Chris Usher. I'm owner of RC Tinderbox.
Okay.
On the line as
Thank
well.
you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Mr. Klinkart, are you?
Thank you. Yes, I apologize for that. I just had to confer with the staff, but in this particular, both these cases, it's what I've been told is that this particular organization had one of their members that was appealing having to provide a fingerprint card for background check. Over.
Okay. As I read the notice from Great Northern, is they had a member who was on the slope and couldn't provide the card, and they're asking that the office not deem the application incomplete for the lack of that one card. So maybe John Redden, if you're the attorney for Great Northern, is that basically the summary of what this action is about?
Yes, I think that's the long and the short of it. You know, we first applied for this transfer last June, and in that application process, we weren't asked for fingerprint cards at all for the shareholders of Great Northern Cannabis. And while we weren't unable to complete that application during the time allotted, when we went to apply then on December 19th of this year, when we received our notice of incomplete, we received a notice within that letter that stated that we had to provide our fingerprint cards and background keys for each of those fingerprint cards. And we could have done that. I could have gotten all 33 of my shareholders' fingerprint cards if I would have known that was going to be a requirement that was enforced. However, it wasn't enforced in June, and by the time I got the notice from the state AMCO office that we had to provide fingerprint cards, my shareholder was already up on the North Slope, and he's currently there because of the COVID-19 crisis. He's not being allowed to come back. And so we're simply just asking that the licenses be considered and approved based, and delegated pursuant to that shareholder providing, that person providing their background check on it. Also note that that particular person is a license owner of other licenses right now. So it's not as if this person is really in violation of some sort that would prevent them from holding a marijuana license. They already own 5 other licenses. We're just asking for simply that this be considered a delegation, given the circumstances, first, of the inconsistent enforcement of the regulations, and second, basically, as a result of the crisis we're now facing.
Okay, thank you very much. And there are people punching buttons on their phone or hanging up or calling in, and that interrupts the conversation from Mr. Redden. Mr. Klinkhardt, you heard his discussion. Do you have any comments at this point?
No, I just, for the record, want to state that I think that there was time in January, to possibly get this. However, I do concur that given the circumstances, I would not argue against a delegation to move this forward. And when we get that card, we get that card. So that's all I have. Over.
Okay. Do we actually? I'm going to check here. Okay. So, my iPad is acting up here.
Mr. Jones, this is Carrie Craig. I did hear from the examiner, who has been working hard with the applicants. I believe at this point, really, the question is, should we, wait for the fingerprint card to deem the application complete, or should we complete it now and wait for it later? Since it wasn't physically possible to get the fingerprint card as of March 19th, I believe is the date. So that's kind of the question right now that we're looking for direction or guidance for.
Mr. Chairman?
Okay. Mr. Schulte.
Yeah, a question and a comment, if I may. The question is this the only item outstanding, is that the only reason the application is incomplete?
It is, Mr. Schulte. We actually received an email from the AMCO office stating that the license would be deemed complete except for that single missing fingerprint card. So that's the only matter that's left outstanding. Otherwise, it would have been before the Marijuana Control Board without this appeal.
Okay, thank you. And then, Mr. Chairman, my comment, this is interesting because this actually harkens back to where we were as a board almost exactly 4 years ago, before we had the ability to do FBI background checks. And we determined at the time that we could proceed without that that certification, with the proviso that if we find out later that in fact one of the licensees is a hardened criminal, we were going to yank their license, and we move forward. So I'm not suggesting that he is. I'm just making a.
I understand, Mr. Schultz.
So with that in mind, I would like us to just move forward with this and get that fingerprint card filled in when it can be done.
Mr. Schulte, I appreciate that. I think, given as I look through the material, we don't have I guess we do have the transfer information here. It's in the packet. So, I guess if the board wishes to, at this point, I guess the motion would be to deem the application complete, to approve with delegation the transfer, and the delegation is the obtaining of the last fingerprint card. I think that would be the motion before us.
So moved. Schulte.
Is there a second?
Was it?
Is that Mr. Jaime?
No, that was not, but I can second it.
Okay. I couldn't tell who was seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, then I will call the roll. Mr. Miller. Mr. Schulte,
Yes.
Mr. Jaime,
Yes.
Mr. DeShook,
Yes.
Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller, are you still on mute?
Well, I've been pushing my unmute button for like 3 minutes. I vote yes.
You're now on. Thank you. And
Yeah.
I'm a yes, so that passes 5-0 to approve with delegation. The transfer and the delegation is the receipt of the final fingerprint card.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so we are now on to new applications. And the first one up is Matanuska Thunder Farms LLC, license number 16261.
Through the chair, Director Clinkhart.
Yes.
Yes, this one, 16261, is an application for a standard marijuana cultivation facility in the city of Houston by Matanuska Thunder Farms LLC, doing business as Matanuska Thunder Farms LLC. Over.
Okay. Is there a motion? Mr. Miller? Oh, Mr. Schulte?
Yeah.
With delegation?
With delegation, yes.
Okay. Is there anybody online from Matanuska Thunder Farms?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And your name?
My name is John Farley.
And my name is Michael Boylan.
Okay. Are there any questions for this applicant? Okay. Hearing no questions from the...
Jaime, I'm still looking at one thing.
Yes, Mr. Jaime.
I'm just trying to review one piece of information real fast.
And you have a question for the applicant?
I do, well, possibly. I just want to find something really fast.
Okay.
Well, according to Director Clinkhart, the background check status is still pending.
Not that we're aware of.
I would confirm, I'm sorry.
Mr. Clinkhart.
Through the chair. I too have looked through this again, and it looks like that, and I would want to confirm with Chief Holscher if he was here, but I would recommend that the board consider approving it until, if indeed there's an issue there that it hasn't been done, but I think it had, at least from my conversations with him. Over.
All right, thank you.
And I think that would be part of the delegation.
Sounds good. I have no more questions.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Okay, then to vote on the motion to approve this application with delegation, Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Jaime.
Yes.
Mr. DeShook.
Yes.
Mr. Schulte.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Thank you very much. We are now on to Northern Alliance, license 23902, and this would be tab 12. Mr. Clinkhart.
Thank you. Through the chair. This is an application for a standard marijuana cultivation facility in the Matsu Borough by Northern Alliance LLC, doing business as Northern Alliance. Over.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Move to approve with delegation, license number 23902, Northern Alliance. Schulte.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. The second. Are there any persons online from Northern Alliance?
Yes, this is Casey Wilkins from Northern Alliance.
Okay.
I have a comment.
All right.
I'm not Northern. My name's Sam Hanson. I have a comment. If you want to take it.
And you're not connected to the license?
No, it's just regarding their. Okay. No, I'm not.
Okay. All right. If you would hang on for just 1 second, then you bet. Okay. Are there any questions from the board for this particular applicant? Okay. Then I have a couple of questions. One is you state that your grow facility is only accessible by water or air, and you will have a live-in caretaker that will be living on site. So is that caretaker one of the owners, or is that an employee?
That caretaker will be me, and I am one of the owners, or I am the owner.
Okay. My second question is, you say that this is not outdoor. Are the hoop houses in a structure, or are they 2 or 3 separate structures surrounded by a fence?
These will be enclosed greenhouses.
Okay, but there'll be 2 separate greenhouses?
They will be multiple greenhouses. We're planning on doing 6, but I'm not sure that we will be doing all 6 at this time.
Okay, so will there be cameras if you move product between various hoop houses? You will have cameras on the outside so that the fenced property is all restricted access?
All of the areas that will have cannabis will be under camera surveillance.
Okay. All right. So I'll open this for public comment, and I understand there's one person. What was your name again, ma'am?
My name's Sam Hanson.
Okay. You've got a minute or two. Okay.
Thank you. AMCO ensures that the odor, or asks that the odor is not detected by public from outside the facility. He can go up to 8 greenhouses, which is 24,000 flowering cultivation square feet. The exhaust fans for the grow structure, will be direct the air in a direction away from the closest residential neighbors. This facility is one of the 4 sides of the lot is Big Lake. Big Lake is public access, public is there. Will he be directing this onto the lake? And is that still, where is the safety for your enforcement with filters and to keep the odor from leaving the property?
Okay, thank you for your comment.
Can I answer that?
Mr. Wilkins, I was getting to that, please. Yes, you may, because we're taking public comment, but I will ask the question for her. So please answer the question.
Okay, yeah, each greenhouse is going to have carbon filters to mitigate all smell.
Okay. Okay, are there any other board comments and or questions of this applicant?
Mr. Chairman, Bruce Schulte.
Mr. Schulte.
Just a couple. This is on an island in a lake, if I'm looking at this correctly?
No, it's actually on mainland.
Oh, okay. So when you say it's accessible only by boat or air,
there's just not a road that goes to the property.
Okay, thank you. Because I'm trying to figure out what property this was. Okay, so one question I have is how will enforcement get to the premises to do inspections when they need to? Will you guys provide transportation for them?
yes, we will have a boat, pontoon boat that will provide transportation to AMCO at any time.
Okay. Okay. And are you filtering? Are you going to filter the air? Are you going to try and keep the air contained in the hoop houses, or are you going to vent the facility through carbon filters?
We're going to vent the facility through carbon filters, and we're only planning on harvesting twice a summer.
Okay. And do you envision doing all the hoop houses at once, or are they going to be staggered?
They will probably be staggered somewhat. Just depends on the time it takes to build and plant.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. I mean, I think the objection is a reasonable one, and I just hope you guys are prepared to throw some more filters on there if necessary, because I think everybody involved knows that these harvests can become really aromatic.
Yeah, we would entertain providing as many filters as possible to mitigate the smell. And this is a fairly remote property with quite a bit of land features around the greenhouses, like raised hills on two of the sides, and then quite a bit of distance between us and any other residents.
Okay, thanks. And Mr. Chairman, I'm supportive of the application. Just with the comment that smell has been an issue, and we've got a nearby property owner that is concerned, so it's definitely going to be on the licensee to be responsive to that. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion from the board?
Through the chair, this is Mr. Miller.
Mr. Miller.
I agree odor has been a huge issue, and when I read 6.1, it doesn't talk about the filters. And as a matter of delegation, I would like to have them add that into the 6.1 of J04. I think it's important they start with the filters, not if odor's a problem, come back and put them in.
Okay, and I think that's on the record that will be added, and when they do the pre-inspection, that should be one of the things enforcement looks at. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, it's a vote on the motion to approve with delegation, and the delegation would include on the pre-inspection that the filtering system be of prime concern. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. DeShook?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So thank you very much, and to Ms. Hanson, we appreciate your comments, and hopefully we won't have to go back. So we are on to limited cultivation facilities, new applications. This is tab 13, Snowcap Gardens 2, LLC, license number 19874.
Through the chair, Director Klinkart, this application is for a limited marijuana cultivation facility in the Matthew Borough by Snowcap Gardens 2, LLC, doing business as Snowcap Gardens 2, LLC. Over.
Thank you. Whoever is banging on a garage door or pots and pans, would you please mute your phone? We're trying to hear this license. Do I have a motion on the floor?
Move to approve with delegation, license number 19874, Snowcap Gardens. Schulte.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there anybody online from Snowcap Gardens?
Yes, I am.
Your name, please?
Martin Brown.
that Myron?
Martin.
Martin. Okay, thank you. Mr. Brown, are you one of the owners?
Yes, I am the sole owner of Snowcap Gardens and Snowcap Gardens 2.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board on this application?
This is Jaime. I just have one question. How many employees do you plan on having?
At the most, there will be 4 employees.
Okay, and you only have the one bathroom that's not in the restricted area?
That is correct. It's just off the break room.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Then I will ask, on the premises diagram, you show a pretty good sized building, and you are going to be in Suite 101. So the last, next to the last page, shows your offices that are rented by Alaska Electric. There are also apartments, Suite 103, Suite 203, Office Suite 102, which I assume is yours. So you will be have a grow operation in a building that has apartments that are rented out to individuals. Is that correct?
Yes, currently the apartments are rented out to employees. 203 is rented out to my son, Martin Brown Jr., who is actually running the Snowcap Gardens and is going to be running Snowcap Gardens 2. He will be the major grower in the facility. And then the apartment 103 will be occupied by one of the growers in Snowcap Gardens 2.
Okay. And do you own the building?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other questions of the board? Okay. Hearing no further discussion from the board, on the motion to approve license 19874 with delegation, Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Schulte.
Yes.
Mr. DeShook.
Yes.
Mr. Jaime.
No.
And I'm a yes, so that passes 4-1. Okay, we are now on to tab 14. Kara Dundee Colas, license number 24237, which is tab 14. Mr. Klinkart.
Mr. Chair, this is an application for a limited marijuana cultivation facility in the Mat-Su Borough by Kara Dundee Colas, LLC, doing business as Kara Dundee Colas. Over.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Move to approve application number 24237, Kara Dundee Colas with delegation. Schulte.
Okay, is there a second?
Second, Miller.
Okay, is there any questions from the board? Okay, hearing none, I will ask, on the premises diagram, your grow operation, I should probably ask, who's online from Kara Dundee Colas?
Good morning. You got Dusty Farrow and Mike Bray here for Kara Dundee Colas.
Okay. So my question is, on the premises diagram, your limited grow facility is all inside a building, and the entrance from the outside to the inside is into an unlicensed area, and then there's another doorway from the unlicensed area into the licensed area. What is in the unlicensed area? Is that a residence? Is that just a entryway? Why is that not part of the facility?
So that's where we put our bathroom, our utility room, and maybe a TV and a couch will go up there. And we did that so if a plumber or somebody along that line needed to come out, they could work on that area without having to cross into the grow facility.
Okay. So your camera placements would be both the exterior door into the overall building and over the door to the restricted area. So the unlicensed area would have some camera coverage. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the board? Okay, hearing none. Then on the motion to approve license 24237 with delegation, Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Schulte.
Yes.
Mr. DeShook.
Yes.
Mr. Jaime.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So that license is approved with delegation. Okay, we are now on to new retail store applications. And the first one up is tab 15, Canna Get Happy LLC, license number 22327. Mr. Klinkart.
Mr. Chair, this is an application for retail marijuana store in the Matsu Borough by Canna Get Happy LLC, doing business as Canna Get Happy LLC. Over.
Okay, is there a motion?
Move to approve retail store application number 22327, Canna Get Happy with delegation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Miller. Is there anybody online from Canna Get Happy LLC?
Yes, hello, my name is Sandra Millhouse, and I'm 100% owner of Canna Get Happy LLC.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Millhouse. Are there questions from the board?
What's up?
Okay, I had a couple of questions related to this. Your retail is on the second floor.
Yes.
And you have a description on the first floor in which you have storage room, lock security system panel, surveillance. Is the first floor part of the licensed premises?
No, it is not. It's just the storage and the break room area.
Okay. But the surveillance cameras that are in the first floor, those are the cameras that are covering the retail area?
Yes, they cover actually both floors and all outside.
Yes, but the lock security where that is outside of your licensed premises.
It's downstairs in the utility area.
Yes, and I understand that, but, and maybe some other board members can help me here, but I know that we have in the past, you know, sometimes an office is not part of the licensed premise, so that's where it is. I just wanted to make sure that I understood that in an unlicensed portion, which looks like a break room, is where you have the locked surveillance equipment. And I'm trying to remember whether that's okay, and maybe Mr. Miller or Mr. Klinkhardt have an opinion on that.
Director Klinkhardt, I do not at this time. Over.
Okay. Mr. Miller, do you remember?
You know, I do not remember. I just know that we were concerned anytime we saw that it was covered by cameras, but I can't remember if we ever really had a formal objection to it or not.
Right. And I think that part of the delegation will be for the inspectors to look at that, because I think that access to that locked surveillance needs to be under some kind of camera, so that there's some record of who is accessing those surveillance equipment and tapes. So I would just sort of make that as part of the delegation, and hopefully Ms. Milhouse will understand our concern with
Absolutely.
that. Okay, are there any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, during our last meeting, this issue came up with the security system being in an unrestricted area, or at least the recording device has to be in the restricted area. Is that not correct? Per the operating plan?
That was sort of my thinking as well. And in the retail spot, there is some point of sale issues. There's display. I think there's probably someplace back in, there is a surveillance TV and stuff back. There's also a refrigerator. There might be some space there, but I think I'll leave that as part of the delegation, and I think Ms. Milhouse understands that, and if she has to move that, then that would be something I think the investigators could help her with. But I do believe that was my recollection as well, Mr. Jaime.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Scholey.
Yeah, quick question. So I think I understand I recall the one Mr. Jaime is referring to. And I think it would be helpful if we clarify, that for future applicants, if we do expect the recording equipment to be in a in a secure area. So that would be one thing, because I think that would provide some clarity for other applicants. And then my question for this applicant is there any reason why we couldn't, that private office couldn't be designated as a secure area with a locked door, recognizing the access to it is through a break room?
I actually, because we were renovating a building, I thought there was a reason that the security company had asked us not to put it in there. I think access for wiring and everything was at the other side. But if I need to put up a wall and put in a door that locks to secure the utility area and put the box is already in that section too, it's really easy to put up a wall and a door if that would solve the problem.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Surely.
I think I misunderstood then. So I'm looking at the first floor plan. There's a private office. Didn't you say that the security equipment was going to go in that private office? Or did I misunderstand that?
Ms. Milhouse.
So the security panel is next to the utility area. It's in a locked panel along the wall. And there's restricted access downstairs, so nobody but the employees will ever be down there. But like I said, if I need to build a wall in that section and put everything behind it, I can easily put in a wall and a door with a lock.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I see now. I was looking at the wrong area.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I don't know if this is where you were going, but I would be comfortable with it being in a locked cabinet as long as it is covered by video surveillance. I think that's suitable.
Yes, I think you're correct, and so we would just make that part of the delegation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, so on the motion to approve license 22327 with delegation, Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. DeShook.
Yes.
Mr. Jaime.
Yes.
Mr. Schulte.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So, thank you very much, Ms. Millhouse.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and I really appreciate the board working through this to help us all keep going.
Well, hopefully we can all keep going somehow. Okay, so we are now on to retail store application Hatcher's Grass, license number 23455, which is tab 16. Mr. Klinkhart.
Thank you, Chairman. This application is for a retail marijuana store in the Mat-Su Borough by Hatcher's Enterprises, LLC, doing business as Hatcher's Grass. Over.
Okay, is there a motion?
Move to approve with delegation license for application number 23455, Hatcher's Grass. Schulte.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Miller. Are there somebody online for Hatcher's Grass?
Yes, Jana Welty, attorney for Hatcher's Grass online, and James Sullivan, the owner of Hatcher's Enterprise LLC, doing business as Hatcher's Grass, is also on the line.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wilson. Are there any questions from the board on this particular application?
Nothing makes me most mad.
This is Jaime. I just have a quick question on the premise diagram. It looks like there's an unrestricted bathroom in the restricted area.
Yes.
Or is that just saying that it's not under surveillance?
Yeah, that's how we indicate that it's within a restricted area, but there's not going to be a camera in there. In the restroom.
Okay.
There's no camera in the restroom, yeah.
Okay. Is there any other questions from the Mr. DeShook?
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
No.
Okay. Any questions from the board members? I have a couple of questions. This is a retail facility. Is this building built yet?
I believe it's not built yet. It's on James's property. James, do you want to talk about the status of the building and the plans?
Sure. No, the structure's not built yet. The pad's poured. We have the septic and the water lines stubbed up into the pad, but we shut down for winter. We were planning on already starting so far, but with the COVID and everything, we put everything on hold until we can get a crew together to start building.
Okay. Has the Mat-Su Borough done any restrictions on different types of construction companies or who can operate or any sort of restrictions? I know here in Juneau, we've deemed some of those as essential if it's public construction, or if it's to close in a residential facility. Are we asking contractors to maintain the 6-foot distance among workers, which is slowing down some construction here? So I appreciate the position that you might be in.
And through the chair, so that's a great question, but I don't know the answer to that for the Mat-Su. I do know that James has brought his elderly parents to live with him, and they have some compromised issues, so he's just trying to stay away from everybody. So that's also part of the slowdown. Yeah.
Well, I hear that. That's why we're all on the phone from very, very different places. Okay, are there any other questions from the board? Okay, so on the motion to approve Hatcher's Grass, new retail, license number 23455, with delegation, Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. DeShook?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. Okay, so we are on to tab 17, which is Airport Way Best Buds, license number 22809. Mr. Klinkart.
Thank you, Chairman. This is an application for a retail marijuana store in the city of Fairbanks by Airport Way Trade Center, LLC, doing business as Airport Way Best Buds. And the only thing I would like to note is that the objection period for this ends April 5th, 2020. Over.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Move to approve with delegation license or application number 22809 Airport Way Best Bud. Schulte.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Who is online from Airport Way Best Buds?
Yes, good morning. My name is Richard Barnes, president of Airport Way Trade Center, LLC, of Airport Way Best Buds. I'm the sole owner and shareholder.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions?
This is Jaime, Chairman. I have a question for you. So if we received any objections prior to April 5th, let's say we approve this with delegation, and if we receive any objections, will this be brought up to the board in another meeting?
Yes, it will. I believe, and I think what Mr. Klinkart, and he could correct me if I'm wrong, I think one of the things he's also talking about, if you look on the memo, the local government response date is pending as well. So we could get protest or something from the local government as well as from the public. And then it will be brought up. That's part of the delegation, is that the director would have to bring this back to us if we had a timely objection.
All right. Thank you for the clarification, sir.
Okay. Are there any questions from board members?
Mr. Chairman, Schulte?
Mr. Schulte.
Yeah, just one quick question. I'm not intimately familiar with Fairbanks, but does this location put you like closest to the airport of all the retail stores?
Mr. Barnes.
Yes, it does.
So are you still within the city limits, or are you strictly in the borough?
No, I'm just within city limits on Airport Way. The city limits are University Avenue. So I look at University Avenue. I am within the city of Fairbanks, though.
Why is there a cigarette butt in your ashtray?
Whoever's talking about a cigarette butt in an ashtray, could you please mute your phone? We don't need to hear that discussion.
I have no further questions.
Okay, please mute your phone.
I gave you.
Okay. So no other questions on Airport Way Best Buds. So on the motion to approve with delegation, Mr. DeShook.
Yes.
Mr. Jaime.
Yes.
Mr. Schulte.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So Thank you very much, and we will move on here to tab 18, which is Arctic Herbery, which is a license number 23777. Mr. Klinkart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This application for retail marijuana store in the Kenai Peninsula Borough by 7107 Ventures LLC, doing business as Arctic Herbery. And just note there have been objection and responses to the objection.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Move to approve the delegation, application number 23777, Arctic Herbery.
Okay. And this includes the Ketchikan Peninsula Borough conditions.
Kenai Peninsula.
Yes. What did I say?
Ketchikan.
Oh, sorry. Well, that would be a real stretch. I apologize. Who is online from Arctic Herbery?
Jana Weltine, attorney for Arctic Herbery, and Brian Thorpe is also on the phone.
Okay. All right. Questions from the board? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Weltine, would you go through the objections that were received? And I believe it is about Cooper Landing and the population, but if you would go through the objection and your response, and then maybe that will jar some questions from the board.
Yes, sir. So Mr. Larson, he sent in an objection, and his basic objection was, and I don't want to speak for him, so if he's on the phone, hopefully we'll give him a chance to talk to, that he did not want marijuana in general to be so accessible to the Cooper Landing community, and that there's already alcohol establishments in the community, and that they didn't need any more controlled substances. And then he indicated that controlled substances are not allowed on the Kenai River Special Management Area and the Kenai National Wildlife Refuge, and not on the Chugiak Forest. So we dug into those issues, and we discovered that none of those issues are really at play because, as you'll see in my response, we've provided maps showing that the allegation that the establishment was located in the Kenai National Wildlife Refuge is not correct, nor is it within the Chugiak National Forest. Those are not correct, and it is non-forest land. So if you look through my response and you go to Exhibit A, you'll see that the Kenai Peninsula Borough notes it as private land, commercial land, and then if you go down to Exhibit B, you'll see the Cooper Landing area is outside of the National Wildlife Refuge. And then if you go down to C, you'll see that this little white box that's outlined in green, it sits in between the Chugiak Forest land, but it's not within the Chugiak Forest National Forest System. So it's close to those things, but it doesn't sit on any of those things.
Thank you. Mr. Larson, are you online? Mr. Larson, are you online? Okay. Any questions from the board?
You know, on the premise diagram, it shows that it's the proposed licensed premise. Isn't that building already built, or is it not built?
No. So I'm going to pull it up real quick. So it sits near the all of that, the smokehouse, the kitchen, and the lounge and eating area of a restaurant. This little proposed licensed premises, it is built now, but it wasn't built when we were having to take this picture. And Brian, it's there now, right?
Yes, it's nearly complete. Yeah, that's what I thought. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah. And Brian went and got a good drone, so we can send an updated aerial too once it's complete.
Okay, are there any other questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Schulte.
Yeah, I don't have a question exactly, just a comment. I mean, I think it's just worth noting that, Mr. Larson, brought up some concerns. They're not frivolous. I don't personally find them compelling. I mean, I think he's got some heartfelt concerns. I've just not seen the kinds of social disruption that I think his letter speaks to. So I just hope Mr. Thorpe will be a good neighbor, and I'm still supportive of this application.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the board?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is Casey Shuck.
Yes, Mr. Shuck.
I just have one question about, maybe I'm just missing it on the premise. When it was built, what type of foundation is built on? It's a very small facility, just sitting on blocks lifted up, a permanent foundation, or wheels, or what's the foundation?
It's sitting on pier blocks.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? I think part of the concern that Mr. Larson raised, and a concern that I would just ask the owner to be cognizant of, we in Southeast are surrounded by the Tongass National Forest. And when we were discussing all of our regulations early on, it was pretty clear, and in the adopted Cole Memorandum, that products should not be distributed or in any way available on federal lands because of the status of marijuana. And I think, given the proximity of this to all of that federal land, it may be worth Mr. Thorpe warning his customers that buying product and then immediately going on to federal land could pose a problem for them. And I think that's part of the concern that I read. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear in the applicant's mind, as well as mine, that while it certainly is clear that this facility is between a lot of parks and federal lands, that there is still that restriction of having marijuana product on federal lands. I realize that probably there's a lot of federal lands that people take marijuana products on that don't pose any problem, but I would just ask the owner to be cognizant of that in terms of his public information that he would give to potential persons purchasing product. Are there any other questions from the board? I chaired the finance committee last night, so I keep wanting to say assembly. So if I hesitate before board, it's simply because I'm trying to think what group I'm working with. So on the motion then to approve Arctic Herbery license 23777 with delegation and the Kenai Peninsula Borough conditions. Mr. DeShook?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes. Yes.
And I'm a yes. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for your comments.
Yeah. Okay, so this next one, buds below zero, may take some discussion. And so I would propose it is 5 minutes to 12, and that we reconvene at 1 o'clock. And at that time, we will be taking up tab 19, which is buds below zero application. So unless there's any objections to that, Hearing none, please.
Yeah, hi. Richard Barnes again, Airport Way Best Buds in Fairbanks, tab 17. And I'm sorry there was that disruption with that other caller. I did want to bring to the board's attention a small typographic error. I think it's just on the agenda. Under my tab there, it says license 22809, and it says Airport Way Best Buds with an S. And the actual license name is Airport Way Best Bud. No S, and that's what's on all the documents and stuff. But I just thought I would bring that to the board's attention, sir.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. So if there's no objection, we will recess until 1 o'clock. I would hope people will start to sign in a little bit early in case we have problems getting connections. So without that, I'm going to disconnect, and we will see you all at 1.